Hi, my name is Giovanni. Welcome back to my small cubicle of the internet. Sit down, relax, there's snacks. Let's talk about weddings and wedding budgets.
Talk to me about just your take on the cost of anything wedding and how you're managing as a numbers and finance guy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's nauseating.
Yeah, it's overpriced. I was saying we should just tell people we're having an event and not tell them it's a wedding, and we'll probably get half off.
So Sean Johnson, she just told vendors when they met with him, it's for a charity event.
Yeah.
And she said the same exact product, the same exact things were coming in at 1/5 of the cost.
Yep.
Hey y'all, my name is Veronica. I was a 2023 bride, and after 8 months, I'm finally ready to spill the tea on how much me and my husband spent on our wedding. So I'll give y'all the top 3 things that were the most expensive items on our wedding budget, starting with the venue. So our wedding was in Houston, Texas. We're both from Houston. We wanted a Houston themed wedding. We wanted to make sure our wedding was in the heart of Houston. So we went with the C Baldwin Hotel. The cost of that venue, $45,000. For the second highest item on our budget, it had to be the decor. Y'all, the decor was so expensive. All in all, our decor came out to be around $49,600. The third most expensive item on our wedding budget had to be my dress. I absolutely loved my dress. I purchased it from SA down in Dallas Tech. My dress and my veil that we customized, the total came out to around $17,200. So these were the top 3 most expensive things on our wedding day. It did not include so many other items. So if there's anything else y'all want to know, let me know. Bye.
She did not include catering, which is a huge bill. Okay. She did not include, entertainment, DJ. She did not include photographer. Yeah, there's some big ticket items that she did not include. So happy for you, but ooh, that's a budget.
I'm not saying all women, but most want that lavish wedding that they can flaunt their stuff to, have their nice dress, have their Cinderella dress, their moment, take pictures and all that stuff. And
I said anything over 20, we might as well put that towards something else. And 20 is still a lot. I'm being nice.
Over 5,000.
I agree though. I was gonna really like 12, something like that. But 20, I think 20 is cool. If you can stay under 20, okay, we can do
$20.
Have you met women? 20K. But if you trying to spend like 40, 50, man, let's do some real shit with that.
I'm so grateful to my wife, man. She ain't want none of that, man. She said, courthouse, let's go on the cruise. You my baby.
And then because that next year I'm really gonna have some bread and I can put a bigger rock on your finger. Like it's just so much. It's just so much that they don't really. But hey,
got lucky.
Is it worth spending almost the cost of a deposit for a house on a wedding? In the UK, the average cost of a wedding ranges from about $20,000 to $25,000, with some sources quoting that on average, couples spent to about £30,000 on their wedding. However, in the last couple of years, I've definitely seen a lot more people talking about having smaller, cheaper, and affordable weddings. This is because there's a general idea that if you spend all of your money on a wedding, then you're going to regret it, that most people who spend their money on a big wedding look back and wish they didn't, and things like that. And as someone who had a big wedding, I wanted to chip in on this discussion. Almost a year ago, on the 2nd of September 2023, I had my wedding. We got married at a landmark hotel called the Kimpton Fitzroy in central London. I wore a designer dress from Victor and Rolf. We had entertainment. We had an open bar. We served a 4-course meal. We paid for our bridesmaids' hair, makeup, dresses. We had a DJ. We had an MC. We had real flowers. We had a planning team. We really had the whole shebang. Now, after almost a year of the wedding, and the enjoyment is finished and all we have is the pictures and the videos and the memories to remember the day, would I go back and spend the same amount of money again? Yes. What are you guys talking about? My wedding was so fun. If I could go back, I would even spend more money. Like, I completely get it. It is a lot of money to spend on a wedding, and weddings just get more and more expensive. And you could spend your money on a house, or you could buy a car, or you could go on a longer honeymoon than put it into a wedding. But I 100% do not regret the money I spent on my wedding day, because it might have been one day, but it was the best day of my life. I'm so happy and obviously privileged I was able to do my wedding exactly like I wanted it to. And I'm not saying everybody should go out and have a big wedding. I'm just saying that everybody should be comfortable in spending what they want on such an important day. Yes, for most people, having a smaller wedding is financially sound. It makes sense. If you're trying to decide whether or not you should have a big wedding or small wedding, just remember it is one day. You will never get that day again. Even if you get remarried, even if you renew your vows, it will never be that day. So just do what's best for you.
$68,000. $68,000.
The cost of weddings absolutely blow my mind. I actually knew nothing about how much weddings cost until I watched that Netflix show, Marriage or Mortgage, and literally my jaw was on the floor. I didn't know that the average American wedding is what, like $25,000, $28,000? People, what? I actually need to see a breakdown of like where all the money goes. I'm sure most of it goes for like the reception catering, but that is so crazy. But like Sophia Lee was saying, like, honestly, I'm not even like married. I'm not engaged. I'm just in like a long-term relationship. But I just don't know if I would want to spend tens of thousands of dollars for one day.
See, you're not engaged yet. So once you get engaged, you're going to have to go through that shell shock period. Like we all go through it. Even when I talk to women who are currently engaged or, you know, they're married, you're going to have that shell shock. Okay. And then you're going to have to start looking at yourself and ask, okay, what do I really want? And then from there, you decide if it's the courthouse or if you're really going to do this thing and have a wedding. And then when you have a wedding, you decide, okay, yeah, I'm going to have a 10K wedding. But you realize if you're going to have a wedding, you're going to have a wedding. And so you may want to realize that either it's going to be a micro wedding or you're going to have like a wedding. Because if you're having a wedding, yeah, you're gonna hit that average price and up. So yeah, I get where she's coming from, but look, you don't have to have a wedding, but if you're gonna do it, yeah, these are the prices. Ugh, the prices are the prices.
Unless I'm rich. If I'm rich, I will do it. But if I am just like middle class American, I don't think so. I might just do like one big party. And invite the people I truly love and care about for $10,000.
Did anyone else get engaged and then just lose any interest in having your wedding? Because before I got engaged, I had all these big plans and like, oh, I'm going to get married here. I'm going to get a dress here. I'm going to do all these things. And then I got the ring and now I'm like, Vegas.
I am at the point of wedding planning where everything is costing money. Like when I first started wedding planning, maybe about a year ago, I was like, oh, I have time. No, baby, I'm in the trenches now. Yeah, I'm in the trenches. Every month on the dot, something is coming out of my bank account. Something. It is to the point where I'm calculating, okay, how much do I need to put away in the next coming month so that I'm able to afford this wedding? Hi.
Come with us to pick out our wedding venue. The national average for the cost of a wedding in 2023, according to CNN, is $29,000. I'm not spending a dime over 10. Call me cheap, call me whatever. I'm not doing it. This is in downtown El Paso, Texas. The inside of this place was beautiful. It really shocked me compared to outside. Now, we plan on having a small, intimate wedding, no more than 80 people. She has a very large side of the family. I really don't. Now, seeing as I didn't grow up with a lot of people getting married in my family, everyone was baby mamas and baby daddies. For instance, the bride is the only one that gets a dressing room. The grooms don't have a dressing room. That really confuddled me. Now, if you've never been in the planning stages of a wedding, you don't know about certain prices. Like this place doesn't have a liquor license, so we have to bring our own alcohol. That saves us money at the end of the day. Other expenses like catering. This is the menu. We didn't really like a lot of options that were on there, so we're going to decide to go with our own chef to make the food. That can definitely save you a lot of money too. My wife wasn't too ecstatic by looking at other places. She loved this one.
You said
I'm getting this place. I'm getting this place.
You said
I'm not sad. You want to pick two other ones? They're not going to happen because this is the place. I'm going to call and leave the deposit tomorrow.
You're not leaving the deposit.
Period.
About where we're at in regards to wedding.
I wanted to stitch this because I was absolutely here 2 years ago when I got proposed to. I went through like several renditions of what my wedding was going to look like. I looked at multiple venues, and venues were charging food and beverage minimums of $4,000, $6,000, $8,000. And I just could not justify spending that much money on a wedding. I don't even like over 20 people that much to spend 30, 40K on y'all. Sorry. Then I got to the point where I was just going to go elope. I was just going to go down the courthouse and I was going to elope. That would absolutely have been fine too, but I did not like my courthouse at all. Like, it does not look nice in there at all. And I knew that I wanted it to be something memorable for me. So I started calling unconventional places, pretty parks that I've been to, pretty stores that I've been to. And ultimately I found a bookstore that was closed on the day that I was getting married and did events on their closed days. Our wedding venue ended up costing $600.
How much did it actually cost for you to get married? Hi, I'm Candace, and on this channel, we talk about all things wedding. And today is the start of my new series where I take the budget breakdown of your wedding. Today's wedding is from Jessica, and she got married in the beautiful state of Georgia. Jessica would like to stay anonymous, so all of the photos are not of her, but these prices are exactly from her. The couple got married at a private estate. This cost them $86,000. For her wedding dress, hair and makeup, bridesmaid dresses, groom attire, and groom suit, this cost $28,000. They had 150 guests, so for all the food, the open bar, the desserts, and the espresso martini tower, this cost them $136,000. For all the flowers and arrangements, this cost them $62,000. Jessica was key on having the best videographer and photographer, and this cost them $41,000. They had a live band, a DJ, and a string quartet for the ceremony. This cost them $31,000. They had a limo for their wedding party, and they had transportation for guests. They also rented a vintage car to take them to and from the reception. And altogether, this cost them $10,000. And they couldn't do this alone. Jessica decided to get a wedding planner, and the wedding planner's service fee was $30,000. And we can't forget anything I missed, like the gifts, the invites, and the $15,000 tip. We'll need to add $30,000 more. So in total, this beautiful Georgia wedding costs over $460,000. Let me know in the comments what prices shocked you the most, and if you would like.
I am assuming when you're paying that much for a wedding, there are a lot of behind the scenes things going on. Like, I'm hoping this is a write-off. You know, like, is this wedding a write-off? Is this content? Is this part of a business deal? Because what?
Me to do a price breakdown of your wedding, just DM me on Instagram.
This woman is going to her wedding, and she went into $60,000 of debt in order to throw this wedding, and she's not the only one. The average wedding in America is $30,000, and the typical size of a wedding is 100 guests, and each guest costs around $266. That's a lot of money, and people are literally going into debt throwing these weddings. So why? The wedding industry is notoriously expensive. Services for a wedding generally cost more than if you were to have those same services at another event. For example, catering for a retirement party would likely be a lot less than catering for a wedding. Vendors say that because weddings are so high pressure, there's an added cost. But critics call the pricing a wedding tax. And what's worse is the price is going up. 77% of wedding vendors say they're increasing their rates. They say it's because of inflation, but technically inflation has gone down. Here's some data to show what services are getting more expensive. As you can see, the top three are DJs, makeup artists, and flowers. And interestingly, grooms' outfits are getting cheaper. What's crazy is despite everything getting more expensive, people are still willing to pay. That's because there's basically a backlog of weddings. The pandemic made some people delay their weddings, and now they want to have a big party. So you're likely to start seeing a trend of very lavish weddings, and people are willing to pay up, even that means going into debt for it. Which I don't fully support because financial problems can lead to bad marital problems. In fact, money woes are one of the leading causes of divorce in the US. For every 10 marriages, 4 end in divorce because of money. Do you think taking out debt for a wedding is a good idea? Personally, I actually know a few people who have, but I also know a lot of people who have had their parents pay for everything. Let me know in the comments.
First of all, y'all went ham in those comments. And honestly, I agree with y'all. But keyword, y'all, I said wedding. I am not against the courthouse. I actually love the courthouse. But some of us want weddings, and that's just fine. The issue is you cannot have an affordable wedding. Not courthouse, not micro wedding, a standard traditional wedding. It just does not exist. Now, I know everybody has a different idea of basic, and I might be a little bougie. But if you ask the masses, you are not getting the standard basic wedding for less than $30,000. All right, I'll give it 20. You're just not. And that's just really unfortunate because it shouldn't cost all this money to have a wedding. It really shouldn't.
So at this point in life, you're going to have a good wedding with, I would say, you know what? No. You could have a good wedding, 10K. There was a venue that I almost booked when I was thinking of having a smaller wedding. It was at a lake house, beautiful lake house. Bring your own food, bring your own. I think it was bring your own bartender. You know, it was very DIY, but it was right by the lake, very beautiful. I think you could have up to 80 people, and the all inclusive package was about 5,000. Yeah, in New Jersey. So look, it's possible.
It's safe to say that we all can agree that weddings are expensive. But when I tell you I had no idea how expensive until I started planning my own. So let's talk about it. The first thing that stole my pocketbook, dragged me down a dark alley, and beat my ass was catering. The cost of catering is so expensive. And I get it. I understand why catering is expensive, and I'm willing to pay for it. But damn, did you know about catering minimums? Because I didn't. Okay, a $15,000 catering minimum. Who's your target audience? Because who can afford a $15,000 minimum on food? Here's another thing that I didn't realize. You're not just paying for the food. You're paying for the chef. You're paying for the kitchen manager. You're paying for the staff. Those people need to be paid, and it's coming out of your pocket. I was able to get my catering for, I don't know, the low price of just under $10,000, but I was shocked at the cost of catering. The next thing that took me by surprise was flowers. I'm a flower girl. I love flowers. But all those pretty pictures you see on Pinterest with a wedding full of flowers, girl, you can forget about that. That's going to be a $100,000 wedding. I was quoted $250 per centerpiece for my wedding, and also another $1,200 to decorate my arch. Candles, lights, and greenery, because we're not doing that over here. And lastly would be the cost to have your wedding on a Saturday. I believe the cheapest day to have your wedding is probably a Thursday, but that's really inconvenient in my opinion. Thank God my venue didn't charge any extra to have our wedding on a Saturday, so we picked a Saturday. But the way that these venues jack up the price if you want to have your wedding on a weekend, girl. And they also have different prices depending on the season, which I can understand. Nicer weather, more expensive. Some venues even have guest count minimums. Like, yeah, a Saturday, that's going to be 150 people, sis. That's how they're going to get more money, even though they don't charge an additional fee to have your wedding on a Saturday. Despite all these ridiculous fees that I was not prepared for, I am not going into debt over a wedding. Please do not go into debt over your wedding. Do not take out a loan for your wedding. I know you hate to hear this, but it really is just one day. Don't forget to save extra money for administrative fees, tax, and gratuity, because, girl, that took me by surprise, too. How much was your wedding? I'm curious.
So I am a 2025 bride, and I've been seeing a lot of videos about how expensive weddings are, and I just wanted to make one as well. They're criminal. Like, the prices are insane. People should be locked up for charging this much. I'm almost to the point where I just want to tell my family, hey, this is the resort we're going to stay at. Book you a room too. We're gonna all meet for dinner one day at 6 p.m. and that's gonna be the wedding celebration, because like you have to pay for everything. Like, oh my god, I got a package and it was like colored napkins, $4 each. Baby, Party City, Shein, Temu, Amazon. Like, yeah, it's really criminal, y'all. Like, I don't know why people think when someone's getting married that they're made of money, but I need that to stop.
You just got to realize, okay, this is the game we're going to play. You got to really start doing your research and asking around and just start actually plugging in what you're looking for each category in like a budget sheet. Like, I literally have a wedding budget sheet, and I started plugging in numbers and realizing, okay, I have to set a budget for what I'm looking for. So I have a hard budget for photography. I have a hard budget for my reception, catering, DJ, and that's it. If they don't meet your budget, see if they can negotiate. If not, you got to find someone who meets your budget. And that's the only way you can get by.
I'm a 2026 bride. Me and my fiance just had a discussion about where we're at in regards to wedding costs. And we're both trying to figure out, how do we get to this number? It's like you can't even have like the most basic wedding without spending at least $30,000.
Yeah, it's you gotta do your research. I'm actually going to be posting on my Instagram a lot of venues that I have found that I am no longer interested in because I locked my venue. But I did find some with some really reasonable prices. So if you check out my Instagram, yeah, you can see some of the venues in New Jersey that I think you might be interested in if you want a 10K or under wedding. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Loving natural patina. Year long evergreen is amazing.